Oh, we're live. That's quick. Good Lord.
Oh, and we were still winging.
Yes, we're still winging it. Right, welcome everybody to the Tat Chat number something or other, 130 whatever. Yeah, our regular Tuesday hangout of UK resellers. Three of us today. We have Zahir. Do you want to say a quick hello, Zahir?
Hi, everybody.
And that'll do. That's fine. And Zahir. And Zahir. No, I've done Zahir. Hold on. And Scott. Oh, it's going to be one of those.
Yeah.
So how are you both?
Just about alive.
Yeah, pretty good. Not too bad. I've been feeling a bit sorry for myself with the odd headache, but apart from that, yeah, pretty good.
Struggling on as ever.
Oh, just you know when you like to feel sorry for yourself, you're like, oh, and then you pat yourself on the back when you do a little bit of work.
Oh, where'd that come from?
Just you, I think, mate. Just you.
Let me move my mic.
I'm trying to get the chat up at a different window and failing miserably.
Yeah, you may have it open. Yeah, have you muted the window that it was?
I don't know what I've done. Let's try a new window.
Oh, okay.
You'd think it was our first live hangout, wouldn't you?
This is going pretty smoothly. I mean,
Yeah, this is pretty standard stuff.
As well as we could expect. Anyway, welcome everybody. I know there's a bunch of people in, so I will pop in and say hello. Lucy was in first, along with Peter and Adrian Richards. Gary is there, says good evening, fellow tapsters. Who else have we got popping in? Chelsea, welcome. Stephen is in, Stephen Moore. BCP. Let me scroll down. So welcome everybody. We do have a subject. It's something that comes up all the time. I get asked an awful lot on my channel and on the Facebook groups about postage. What's the best postage option? Who do I use and why? What options I offer within eBay and why? So we thought we'd just compare really with the three of us what we use and why, and you can let us know in the chat what you use and reasons why, and we'll dig into that a bit. Tom can't join us. He's off buying billions of DVDs. Darren's a bit busy. I did invite Darren in, but he can't make it either. So you're stuck with the three of us.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, apologies. So where was I? Let's do a few more hellos before we start. Kelly is in. George Ross and Hamilton, welcome. Tap Peddlers there. Chris B, Catherine, welcome everybody. I'm going to scroll to the end. Right, we are organised. Hello, Death by Glamour. How are you? So where should we start? Carla, do you want to let us know who do you currently, talking about when you've had an order and you ship it, who are you currently using and has that changed in the period of time you've been doing eBay?
I use mostly Hermes through Parcel to Go. I have been doing that for at least 2 years, maybe more. In fact, probably quite a lot more, really. But I've only been full-time 2 years, so it's only really been a definite you need to choose who you're sending by. I hate going to the post office. Hate it. I'm sure that there are some wonderful post office staff somewhere in the UK. They're not anywhere near me. I hate standing in the queue. The lady behind our counter seems to think that because she's going to be there all day, there's no reason why you shouldn't as well. I hate it when you get to the front of the queue and you can feel all the eyes behind you hating you because you're at the front and you're going to be there forever. And furthermore, it costs more. So that's post office out for me. So I send everything via Hermes, but I don't like the Hermes website itself either.
I was going to ask that because I do use Hermes for some heavy and bulky stuff. But I use their website and I don't have any issue with that. And don't you pay a bit more through Parcel to Go, or is it better?
No, the other way around. You pay $278 to $280, $285.
I'm not
for the standard. I pay $239.
Oh.
But that's with no insurance.
Right.
Now, I deliberately stopped having the insurance because they won't pay out on anything anyway. They always find some way to not pay out. So I gave up having the insurance. I thought insurance is pointless.
But not even the standard up to £20 insurance that I think is on most.
I have zero insurance on that. I give up on it. Bear in mind, I don't sell anything very expensive. I might change my tune if I was selling massive expensive things. And in fairness, if I do send something more expensive, then I tend to send it by a more insured method if I feel it needs it, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I'd say 90% of stuff goes with Hermes through Parcel to Go. I pay £2.39 per parcel. I have very little problems. They're not breaking stuff as much as they used to. They seem to have stopped playing football with my parcels. Anything that will fit in a large letter goes large letter, and it literally just gets dropped in the post box. I don't pay for signed for with Royal Mail. I don't pay for if they want guaranteed by 5 a.m. with their egg and toast, they have to pay extra for that. And even then, I don't really like it because now I've got to go in the post office. And the only exception is the things that Parcel to Go think Hermes don't do, Shuttle think they do. Even I can hear that doesn't make sense. Parcel to Go think that Hermes don't deliver to Jersey. Shuttle knows that they do. Parcel to Go think that Hermes charge an extra £1.50 to deliver to whichever part of Ireland it is that isn't part of the UK, whereas Shuttle don't. So some things go through Shuttle at £2.78. Most of it goes through Parcel to Go at £2.39. The occasional thing goes through Royal Mail, large letter. That was very long, wasn't it?
I know exactly what you're talking about, though. When I use Parcel to Go sometimes, and yeah, you're right. There's some anomalies, aren't there, where they won't deliver to certain addresses, or they'll just charge you a lot more money to deliver to certain addresses, especially to the Isles and things like that, or the Highlands. They'll charge you more. Whereas if you use Hermes through Shuttle, they won't. So it is something Yeah, I mean, I think postage is in general just one of those geeky topics that you can get into because, it might not seem like that interesting, but when it's such an integral part of what we do daily, shipping stuff out, you become like knowledgeable about it, don't you? Like,
when you think there's a difference of 40 odd pence per parcel between doing it through the Hermes website and doing through Parcel to Go, if you're only sending 2 parcels a week, that's 80p. Who cares about 80p? If you're sending 20 a day, we're looking at some very different figures then, and I'd rather it was in my pocket than theirs.
Yeah, and when you add it up over a year, it's significant.
Yeah.
I mean, that is interesting because it might be worth me looking at that. I was just thinking, to hear what you were just saying, it's really geeky and something we know a lot about. I think I'm very guilty of finding something that works and not looking at it again. I did things the same way for like best part of a decade, you know what I mean? And didn't really look into it. And only recently have I switched from my Royal Mail business account to Click and Drop, which is very similar. But I don't, as often as I should, assess what I'm doing. Like as Carlos just said, I could be saving, what was it, 40p a package?
Which I said you've got a lot, makes a difference.
So I think you've mentioned this before, actually, in a way that sometimes it can happen where you get comfortable in what you're doing, and especially when it's been working, that whole if it's not broke, why fix it?
Because you end up, I certainly end up getting in a system that I can do with my eyes shut, and I feel like, do I really want to change all this up? I've got everything in place. I know how it works. I'm not having any problems. I don't want to shake it up.
Yeah.
That's kind of the position I end up in most of
the time. But I've found personally, since like going full time, it's one of the things I would say to people, don't do that with, definitely don't just find something and stick because, there was a time, I mean, when you started, when you were reselling, I mean, you got to remember, you got to put things in context. You started years back, not to make you sound like ancient, but experience-wise, you started years back. Now, when you started, there probably wasn't nearly as much competition for posting parcels as there is now. And I think that's a massive change that has really only occurred in recent times. Royal Mail was pretty much the only game in town, wasn't it? And then it's, other services like FedEx or whatever were so extortionately priced and still are that, and to be honest with you, they don't deal with the kind of everyday parcels. So it was just Royal Mail or bust. And it's only recently with the, online, when all these companies have gotten online and you can start buying postage online, and you've suddenly got Hermes, you've suddenly got Parcel Monkey, Parcel to Go, and a plethora of others, that it's made it a competitive industry, which means they're always trying to undercut. I mean, I actually remember my very first like Christmas or whatever that I was reselling, and there was a service by me down south called InPost that not a lot of people like,
Oh,
but I've had nothing but good things with it, and they were running, because it's such a competitive industry, they were shipping anything under a kilo, I believe, for something like £1.95, including that. So I was shipping out so many parcels that would have, you know, cost God knows what on Royal Mail or Hermes or whoever else, and these guys were coming in and offering it at 195, and it is very cutthroat. And
So were
you
they
know,
only down south? Why are you not using that anymore?
well, they, yeah, I down south I had like lockers really close to me because it was one of those. Again,
yeah.
I love not dealing with people, just like when it comes to the parcel drop off thing, much like Carla, and
So you
I
can
always
drop it off in
prefer
a
it.
locker and
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, you don't have to do anything. You can go at any time of day or night.
Mm.
But up here, my closest one is ages away, and plus, when I was using it, it was actually being run by that company that went bust one Christmas. I can't remember their name. There was a big parcel company that a lot of people lost their jobs in, and I felt kind of, you know, I can't remember the name of them though.
CityLink?
Yes, I believe so. Yeah, I think they were being run. They were being like, or like their service was being, you know, done by CityLink, and I remember right at the end of Christmas period, beginning of January, they went bust. I think it was just after Boxing Day, and I remember frantically having to message a bunch of customers saying, "Look, I'm really sorry. I sent using this service, and CityLink have now gone bust, and so it could be a while." But all of my parcels did eventually get delivered. Even then, it's just, you know, they took a lot longer. I mean, you know, I had to let people know that it could have been like 3 or 4 weeks, and it was about three
I
or four
remember you
weeks.
saying that when it happened. You let everyone know that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
yeah, it
it.
was. Yeah, because
Just
I
reading in the chat, people letting us know what they're currently using. Peter Ray is using the post office for under 2 kilos. Over 2 kilos, they'll use Parcel to Go to get the best offer. Gary, Southwest Sellers. Anything under 2 kilos, Royal Mail again. Over 2 kilos, I have a DHL account. £5.14 plus VAT up to 10 kilo next day. Sounds good.
yeah. Well, I mean, a Parcel to Go is good for heavier parcels as well. So Hermes will do for most things. But Hermes, to be honest, are only good value up to 2 kilos. Anything above 2 kilos, you may as well switch to a more reputable sender, you know, a more reputable
UPS.
company. Because, yeah, I tend to switch to UPS or Parcel Force, but not directly. Again, with Parcel Force, you get much cheaper prices by going through Parcel to Go or Parcel Monkey. You know, you can actually send huge parcels. I think George Ross has actually commented on that he sends large items like coffee tables and chairs for like £9. So, you know, £9 delivered, and I think they've got a limit of up to I don't know, quite a long length as well. So their dimensions are very they're very generous with the dimensions of parcels
Hermes
they'll accept.
have a restriction on size, don't they? You have to work out the overall capacity.
And that brings me to the other point that I was going to make. The other reason why you should always be looking at this is because, like I said, the market is competitive, so companies are always trying to undercut each other, and sometimes significantly, like Carla's shown with the Hermes price differences. But also, your business can be changing. I was using a lot of Hermes, and you know, we were shipping out tons of stuff via Hermes and UPS, and because we were sending out bigger parcels. But because since we got this haul going, like, you know, our parcel size is now typically a large letter weighing under 100 grams. So suddenly, using anyone else but Royal Mail seems like a waste of money, because we can now ship 99% of our parcels for 79 pence. So, you know, it would be foolish of us to just, you know, in that respect, carry on using Hermes because it's offering tracking or whatever, or because we need to because of the dimensions and weight. So it always pays to just revisit what you're doing, because your business can change, the stock you use can change. I mean, I'm no doubt, Nick, when you got the car parts in, you've had to probably make a business policy for that, or you've got an idea on how you send that, or does that all go in the big bags as well? Or
Yeah, it pretty much all goes Royal Mail at the same rate. I do my own international on pretty much all of the car parts. I changed that up around that time. That was my next point, actually, which would be interesting to find out. Carla, with international, firstly, do you ship international, and how do you deal with that?
I use GSP.
Yeah.
I presume most people in the chat will know what I'm talking about, the eBay Global Shipping Program, where you pay to send it to their warehouse in Lichfield or wherever it is this week, because they seem to move it around. You pay to send it there, they send it on from there. They charge the customer God knows what, depending on where the customer lives. You get the bit that you've put on your listing anyway. So if my postage is set at $3.49, I get the $3.49. I send it to them, they send it on. If a customer contacts me and says they don't like the global shipping price, can I do it better? I will go and look. Mm-hmm. However, on the several occasions that I've tried, I've actually gone back to the customer and said, well, actually, it's going to cost me this to send it to you. And that's not much different to what GSP are quoting anyway. So although I think they do sometimes ramp it up, I don't think they do it all the time. It can be confusing from multiple sale. If a customer buys a couple of things off you, GSP will not combine the postage. So if they're charging the customer 20 quid each item, they want the 40 quid, they won't combine, in which case you have to get them to request an invoice so that you can send them a revised shipping price and whatever. But I rate the GSP. I think it's made life a lot simpler. And certain countries like Italy seems to have a very peculiar postage system where parcels drop into some kind of black hole. And I would have never wanted to send to Italy in the past because of knowing this. Same with Turkey. The Turkish postage system is crazy. If you send something to Turkey, you're lucky if it gets there in the same calendar year. Well, whereas the GSP has kind of made that more of a level playing field. So
yeah,
I do that.
I shipped out 2 GSP orders today. One weighed, I think it was about 7 kilos, which was a big job lot of Nerf that I sold for £60. I don't know what they paid GSP, but they paid me the £10 courier shipping, or £8 or whatever, plus GSP on top of that. And I guarantee that whatever they've paid would have been way less than what I could have shipped it for. So it does pay off the GSP in some instances. Yeah. I didn't have my own shipping on that for that very reason. I knew GSP would probably be better for them. So what are your experiences here with Global Shipping Program, and have you ditched it completely?
I've pretty much ditched it. I still think there's, again, it's never like black and white. It's never that simple. The reason why I've ditched it is because what I'm selling has kind of meant that it's better for me to ditch it. If I was shipping out an item that's like 7 to 10 kilos or above 10 kilos, the chances are, like you said, GSP Global Shipping Program would probably offer a better tracked service than I could find myself. So it's better for the customer in that regard. But because, like I said, 99% of my parcels are large letter, most of those are then under 100 grams, which also affects the cost, right? I tend to just use my own international shipping via Royal Mail. And further than that, I've even come to realize that tracking is kind of pointless as well. I don't even send stuff tracked now. But again, it's personal to me because I know what the stock owes me. I know that, you know, I'm and I've seen that it's not really caused me any issues. In actual fact, if I go over my last few months, I've had more well, not issues, but the only item not received cases I've had have actually been items that I've shipped to in the UK, not to Italy, or you know, I've actually sent stuff to Canada, Thailand, Australia, like all over the world, and I send it standard mail now, and you know, I don't get any issues, no tracking, nothing. It's significantly cheaper as well.
Yeah, and what you're saving in the long run pays for the odd one that may in the future go missing. I suppose it comes down to experience, and what Carla touched on then was exactly where I was way back when I stopped doing international shipping to various countries, because 1 in 3 would vanish off the face of the earth, and then I was adding track to it, and in some cases that didn't make any difference. So GSP for me makes me feel comfortable with that side of it, because I know if it vanishes off the face of the earth, it's contact eBay because it's their issue. I got it to the eBay hub, and beyond that, it's not my issue. So that side of it has been great for international.
Yeah.
I've been doing my own international on the car parts, and we send out lots and lots internationally on that. But I have tracking on it, and I cover that with my cost, so that's fine. I just read somebody's Neil Patterson puts a comment in there. So question, is this not a personal thing with postage, as your buyer is paying the postage cost? So as long as your postage price is correct for whoever you choose to use, and it does not really affect you. Yes, in that you're not paying for it. So what you, if it's going to cost you a tenner and you charge your customer a tenner, or ideally 11, because you're going to pay 10% to eBay on it, you're covered. But if you can get it cheaper, your item will be more competitive within eBay. That's the point. You know what I mean? It's all very well covering your postage cost, but if you're paying extremely high postage, you're not competitive against other sellers. That's the point I think we're getting at.
Yeah, I'm able to keep my postage costs at around 50 pence less than other sellers are able to because of the amount they're paying. So
I think that's a really good point, actually, because another consideration of yours should be look at what your competition is doing. So one of the reasons why we decided to switch to like, especially when it comes to international, we were initially sending out all our international parcels tracked. So even a large letter item, if you send it via, if you send it with tracking, suddenly an item that would cost you £2.65 by international standard will cost you like £7, £8 just to have tracking on it. And then we looked at other like sellers that had similar stock to us. Now, there's no point just looking at, when I say other sellers, I do mean try to find someone that's doing something similar to you, because you know you're not unique. As much as we would like to think we're beautiful, unique snowflakes, I guarantee you, whatever your business is, because some people have got this very much mentality, I think, that they've figured it out and they've got something going on that no one else has got going on. Trust me, there's a million other people doing exactly what you're doing out there. And all you've got to do is find them, which will be quite easy on eBay. So what we did is we searched out other people that were selling RC parts like we were, okay? Like, and we weren't looking for the big model shops, because you can tell, you know, if you go to an eBay store and they're like, they've got a photo of their bricks and mortar store, or they're a big company that also got a website, we weren't looking at those. We were looking at other sellers that solely are selling on eBay as their main source of income and were selling parts. And we were seeing that they were selling parts using much cheaper delivery internationally than us. And in a way, that also shaped our decision, because we were like, well, if we want to be competitive, we've got to make sure that, you know, we can't go around asking £8 for delivery tracked to Germany if someone else is offering £4. Do you know what I mean? You just, well, you can, but you'd be daft to, you know, especially when you take that into consideration. I think if you do that, find someone similar, look at what they're doing, and you could possibly, you know, learn from it.
Definitely. And going back to the question that Neil put, that it kind of doesn't matter what you're charging because you're charging it to the customer. The way eBay is pushing everybody to go free shipping, it kind of does come out of our pocket, because, you know what I mean, what you're left with is when you take that postage off. And quite often a lot of people are going free shipping, so you're not even declaring to the customer how much it's costing you, if you see what I mean.
Additionally, if I do have to refund the customer for anything, I'm slightly less out of pocket, because they're getting all back of what they paid me.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever they paid me, they're getting all of that back. So at least I'm a little bit less out of pocket than I would have been otherwise. Just one little point Vinny made in the chat that people may not be aware of. If you do use Hermes, and if you drop off your parcels in store, and your parcel is between 2 and 5 kilos, it is cheaper to print the label in store. That will cost you £2.95. If you print the label at home, it will cost you something like £4 or £5, £6 for a 2 to 5 kilo parcel. So print in store for that size parcel. It takes a few minutes, but it's worth it to save the money.
I haven't found one of those yet where they print in store. I've got 2 drop-offs in town, but they don't have a machine.
They don't have the machine. I think on the Hermes website, I think that, you know, they have a I'm not doing very well with words. Apparently, I no longer know how to speak. On the Hermes website, there is a list of which stores have the print in store facility. I'm done.
That's the one. I got you. Another quick question we can tackle. Philip Hall says, is there a comparison site for postage? If not, there should be. Was Zahir mentioned one before?
Yeah, Parcel to Go, Parcel Monkey. They offer various. You know, they offer all the main like delivery people.
Yep.
But that only is relevant if your item is larger than a large letter size. So if it's a parcel, basically, so you need to make sure that if your items are going in a large letter size, that you go onto Royal Mail's website, because the chances are they'll be cheaper.
I think Royal Mail will always beat the price on that large.
Yeah.
And just while it's in my head, I saw a video. I couldn't tell you where it was, and they were talking about large letters. And somebody was saying that the size of the entrance, you know, the bit you put your letters in a post box, they were saying that is the large letter size, and that's what. And it's not. It's totally not. It's 2.5 centimeters. That is large letter size. And somebody was saying that's too small because I can get some of my packages through the post box thing. And I'm thinking, no, that's not what it is. So look into it carefully if you're thinking of getting into this, that you can pick these up anywhere pretty cheap online. And that's the size of a large letter. And it's 2.5 centimeters. And technically, it has to fall through it under its own weight. I've seen people shoving them through and going, that's fine. Technically, it's not, but you may get away with it. But I didn't tell you that. So, yeah, anyway. Moving on. Let's see if anyone else is talking about.
Shazad says Interparcel. They're another site that does it.
Oh, my chat's now stuck. There we go.
Carla says I've lost all sound. I think Nick silenced me and himself.
Really?
It's weird. Yeah. You know, we haven't muted you. Make mouse over the top of your screen and make sure you've not clicked the little mic button. There's a mute.
Nobody in the chat saying we're quiet. Can you still not hear us, Carla?
No. Might have to leave and rejoin.
Let me put it in this bit.
Yeah. She might have to leave and rejoin.
What does Carla say?
I can't hear anything.
Right.
Okay.
Leave and rejoin.
That'll probably be the safest option. Yeah.
Yeah, Darren can hear us. The chat can hear us.
Yeah.
I don't know if Carla's seeing these messages. Leave and rejoin Carla.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, you've put it in the chat as well. In the chat. She'll figure it out. Yeah. She'll figure it out.
Hopefully that'll work.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Pixie Dust reckons Carla's muted herself. But she'd have still heard us.
Star Fox says, question, bought myself Detroit Become Human for PlayStation 4 and the postage cost was £1.40 standard Royal Mail First Class. Was this enough or overcharged postage? That sounds like they charged you just the right amount of postage. If anything, after fees, they may lose out. Because I think because a PS4 game is going to be over 100 grams. It will go as a large letter. But I'm pretty certain we have a quick gander, actually. I mean, you get different prices, don't you, if you're on the online business account? But
yeah, I couldn't tell you what the over-the-counter is anymore.
Yeah, I can.
And I rarely do first class. I do second class unless someone, requests it.
Yeah. Large letter from between 101 to 250 grams, which is what a PlayStation 4 game will be. Yeah, Royal Mail First Class is actually £1.40. So they've charged you exactly what Royal Mail charge you, which means that they're going to be paying for the eBay fees and the envelope and whatever printing costs.
Because they'll lose 10% of that straight away in
eBay fees.
Years ago, eBay used to charge you the end of listing fee on the item and not on the postage.
Yeah.
And then they changed that a few years back to great uproar from the community. Oh, Carla's back.
No, it's because people were selling things for 99p with £100 shipping.
Exactly.
So, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it looks like whoever you bought that from... Oh, we can hear you. Say hello.
Yeah, I heard you then.
But it was a bit crackly, but we did hear you. No, she's got no sound.
Oh,
That's weird. That is strange.
let me put in there. We can hear you. Oh, what a pain.
Yeah, I don't think you were overcharged, but the seller took off the postage in an invoice, so that was cool. So yeah, so they gave you free shipping in the end. Okay. But yeah, that £1.40 is actually the cost of a large letter for a video game. Or first class, that is. George says no free shipping here.
Oh, Carla says going to restart PC. I believe that's what that's what tech support people always suggest. Okay, so we may have to wait 5 minutes for Carla to come back. So in the meantime, I have still not tried Shuttle. I think you were using that for a while. Did you rate that? Did you find that useful? Does it work?
I thought it was fantastic in every way because it's integrated with your eBay store. So,
yeah, so how does
you
it
could switch.
For those who
perfect.
Have, what is it and how does it work?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's just a payment method through. It's just how you can pay for postage using eBay. So, so you'd get your sold, all your sold items, and you click a button. Say if you've sold 5 items, you can just say print postage, and it'll take you to the next screen where it'll say powered by Shuttle, and you can then choose whether you send the item via Hermes, via UK mail, via Parcel Force or Royal Mail, depending on what it is. So everything's in one place. It's neat. It's tidy. The only reason I stopped using it was for whatever reason, and it is the weirdest thing. I could not get it to print out sharp labels using my Zebra label printer, and I tried everything. The PDF, like the labels that it would produce, when I print them out, and I did all the correct setup on the printer. I spent ages making sure I had it set up perfectly with all the right settings on the Zebra printer, and the labels were just coming out fuzzy. They just weren't quite sharp enough. And that was causing issues, especially if I was sending something tracked and there's a 2D barcode on there. It just wasn't good.
Perhaps I'll give that a go and see if I have the same issue, because we've got the same barcode, label printer. So that would be interesting.
Yeah, it's not an issue for everyone.
Because the thing is, it sounds like the dream solution, because I assume they got pretty good rates because it's going through eBay. Like you said, within a few clicks, you can get Royal Mail, you can get Hermes, you can get whatever. So exactly. It's everything within one. And then what, they build you monthly, build you as you paid? How was that work?
Yeah, they bill you monthly. So at the end of the month, they just bill you for whatever you've used. So
see, to me, that sounds fantastic, and I might have a play with that, see if I can get that working.
Yeah, I mean, for some people it works fine, but I found that when I used Royal Mail's website and used the click and drop service on there, my labels print out pin sharp. So
yeah. Well, for a bit of context, that's what I'm using now, click and drop, and I can't really fault it. I really like it. You can integrate it with your eBay, so everything is imported. All my orders are imported into my click and drop. I go through, select the service I want out of the options I've got, and that's pretty much it. And then I get bulk rates because I've got an old business account and it's linked to this. You can just get click and drop on its own. Now, you were saying you use click and drop and you put things straight in the post box from your
because I'm using standard mail. I don't need to make sure that it's scanned in, and it just allows me to just go to the post box and just shove it in. I even shove in small parcels as well, as long as sometimes they're a bit difficult. But yeah, just makes it a lot easier.
I had issues with mine where I did have my click and drop account integrated with my eBay, so it would add the tracking and update when it was shipped, so to speak, and when it was received. And I lost top rated seller so fast because loads of my stuff was being shipped late, even though I was shipping it on time. The post office, I dropped mine off in sacks with like a little printout of the, to prove that I paid for it all, etc. and they weren't getting scanned in like at the right time, and I got so many dings for late shipment. So I've taken all that off. So now my account isn't updated with all the tracking. So, but now with the new update, everything has to have the tracking on it. So now I'm thinking, I don't know. This is why
everything above £20 though, isn't it? I don't think it's everything has to have tracking.
But weren't they saying if somebody opens a case that's set and they say I haven't received this?
Oh yeah, then you lose that instantly.
Yeah, no matter what the price of it. If I then say, yeah, but look, here's the tracking number, it arrived, and what have you?
Then you
say, oh yeah, but you didn't provide that before they opened the case. So I'm thinking that the shuttle option, if that works, I want to ask the chat in a minute if people are using that.
The shuttle would automatically update. That's the other thing it does. It automatically fills in the tracking details to the listing.
Plus, and then you can just drop it off at the post office or UPS drop off or wherever it is, Hermes drop off, and your job is done. And it's all neat and tidy with the billing. So I'm going to have a go at that. Anyone in the chat? Oh, Shazad has said.
But you won't get it but you won't get it stuff as cheap though, because you've got your online business account and you get stuff done by the weight, don't you? Because you've got the average weight thing.
Yeah, but it's not as good as it used to be, because I used to weigh it myself, so I could chuck a few really heavy, like 2 or 3 kilo parcels in, and then a load of really, really lightweight clothing, and it would average out to like 1.5 kilos, and I'd pay a standard rate. Now I can't send anything above 2 kilos. So a big part of the benefit of it, what it was to me, is gone anyway, and I'm paying about £2.70, I think now, tracked.
But I think you also get the option of tracked 24 and 28, don't you?
24/48, yeah.
Yeah, 24/48. Like when you're like, for example, I use Click and Drop, but I don't have the online business account like you do, right? So I don't get the option of 24/48 on large letters. You get it on large letters as well, don't you? Yeah. I only get 24/48 on parcels, and on top of that, there's the VAT. They add VAT to it, so it makes it more expensive than using signed for. So, so you're better. So I'm better off using signed for than using 24/48, which 24/48 is only available on parcels though, whereas I believe you get it on large letters as well. So you can send. Yep. Yeah. So we you don't get 24/48 on large letters when you're not. Yeah. So you're gonna have to weigh that up.
I can hear you.
What on earth was that about?
I didn't press anything. I could see people going, Carla's muted herself. I turned around, told the dog it was not squeaky toy time, and everything went dead. He did it. I don't know how he did it, but somehow he went, it is.
All right, well, glad to have you back. We were just talking about... What were we talking about? I can't remember. Oh, yeah.
Shuttle. Yeah.
Using Did you try Shuttler at all? You know, the integrated eBay postal option?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I use Shuttle for... Oh, God, I haven't muted me. I thought I'd muted. Hang on.
No, you haven't.
I can hear feedback. Oh, God. Right, okay.
I just want to quickly mention Nigel VGM says Royal Mail billing is as you print. That's correct. You know, when I was talking about Shuttle, and I said you pay at the end of the month, that's for all services apart from Royal Mail. That's right. Royal Mail, you get charged immediately.
And just quickly then, how do you make that payment? Does it come automatically out of your
PayPal? You just pay it with your PayPal. It's all through the...
Royal Mail comes through your PayPal, same as it always has when you've printed Royal Mail through eBay.
So you can get an invoice.
Have you never used the integrated eBay thing?
No, I have. I was talking to Nick about it. I couldn't carry on using it just because of the my labels come out fuzzy. I couldn't fix it.
Oh right, I see. I print and using a standard Epson printer onto sticky back.
If I do that, it comes out perfect. That's the weird thing. If I use my laser printer, the labels come out perfect. But using my thermal printer, they'd come out fuzzy. So that's why I went to the Royal Mail website where they come out fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I use Shuttle for anything that Parcel to Go say won't go Hermes standard. So, you know, like I said, the outlying postcodes, the 1 to 2 kilos. One of them is cheaper. I can't remember which way around it is. Yeah, if it's Parcel to Go, say that if it's over 1 kilo but below 2, it has to cost more.
Yeah, they charge.
Shuttle don't do that. So if it's over the 1 kilo but below the 2, then I do shuttle because that costs me £2.78, which is still more than £2.39. But parcel to go take it into the £3.80 odd bracket. So it's a balancing act. I know this one goes this way, this one goes this way. But once you get in the swing of it, you know, I sit here, I weigh them, I go, those are over 1 kilo, they go over there. These are large letter, they go over there. These are all parcel to go. Fire through the parcel to go ones and then do the Royal Mail and then do the over 1 kilo and bang, I'm done. So usually 20 parcels will take me less than half an hour to do the postage for. More than that to pack them, but less than half an hour to do the postage for.
Yeah, Shazad says my delivery rate swings up and down, but eBay have removed 485 late deliveries. But that's just because the volume Shazad does is insane. So
I've never checked to see if I've got any late delivery defects.
You'd know because I think they'd tell you that you've lost your top-rated seller or something if it got bad enough.
I've definitely still got top-rated, so it's not. So yeah, that's not. Although I haven't got it globally. They sent me an email the other day saying I do not qualify for global top-rated seller. I only qualify for UK and Ireland top-rated seller. And the reason I don't qualify for global is because I have not had enough global purchases. You have to have a minimum of 100 over a certain space of time, and I haven't had that many. I don't care. Whatever.
I didn't even know they specified. Oh, there's
yeah,
there's a drop down you can change to see which bits you qualify in. Will you stop squeaking that toy?
Oh, Simon says. Oh, where's that coming from? Hang on, let me turn my.
You haven't got the YouTube page open, have you?
No, I haven't got.
Carla, you haven't got the YouTube page open. No.
No, I have, but it's mute. So.
Oh no, yeah, it's fixed now.
Alzatic says same here. She got that JSP message today. So that top rated not in Azerbaijan or whatever.
Oh right.
I was just going to give a shout out to Simon, who says he's just made it back from Cornwall. We have arranged a hangout with Simon. I believe it was tomorrow. I need to check the messages. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled for that. Simon, who has been traveling around Europe on his
his grandfather's prison of war journey.
Yes, we're going to have a chat about that because I'm absolutely fascinated. So yeah, and we'll also chat about Simon's reselling business as well. So right,
I'm top rate. I'm globally top rated. Yeah.
I don't know if I am.
I don't
tend to get hung up on these things. Like,
no,
I'm not really that bothered. Okay.
I'm not bothered as long as people are still buying stuff. I don't care.
Yeah, I think it has a limited effect, doesn't it? Really, very limited, if anything.
Oh wow, lots of chat I missed. Hold on.
John Gilbert said I've got 2 late deliveries out of 400 odd. It's because I'm employed and I sometimes find it hard to get time to the post office in time. I would say extend your dispatch time, Sean, if it's becoming a problem, because I found extending my dispatch time had no effect on my sales at all, and it just took the pressure off me to feel that I had to do it. So I went from a 1-day dispatch to a 2. It made no difference to my sales, but it made a huge difference to my peace of mind and my stress levels.
Same here. We did pretty much the same. We were I think we were 1 day, if not same day, for a while, and then we switched it to 2. Nothing changed, and I now ship Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and it's quite chilled, to be fair, and it doesn't seem to have affected anything. If people have me and say, "Can you ship it today?" I will.
We don't do same day. We do next day, just so we can have the fast and free and all that. Those little badges, because I like those.
Yeah,
I like little badges. Late
were you one of those kids in school who got really excited if you got a sticker?
Oh yeah, I love stickers. Stickers and badges. Late delivery rate 6 out of 1,058, so that's only 0.5%. So I'll take that.
I don't even know where it is. I literally.
Are you looking at your seller where it's got your seller level and everything? You scroll down.
I know I'm doing a good job, and if anybody else doesn't think so, that's their problem, not mine.
Wait, you only lose top rated seller if your late delivery rate is 3% or more. More than 3%. Sorry, more than 3%. 3% or less, you'll be a top rated seller. So it's above standard. So,
Right, I'm just trying to find mine. I know we're top rated. I actually looked at it the other day.
Yeah.
Late delivery, 0%. Yeah. So
same here. Late delivery rate 0. Cases closed out seller resolution 0. Transaction defect 0. I'm the bomb.
You're the best.
Same here. We're on 0, 0, 0.
No, I got 6 out of 1,050 or whatever.
Well, you're letting the side down there, Z. Come on.
Yeah, you're not getting this sticker.
It's all good.
But like I said before, at one point last Christmas when we started Click and Drop, it was late dispatch time, I'm pretty sure, just shot through the roof because we were automating it all through the connecting Click and Drop to our account, and it just got really screwed up, and we lost top rated seller super fast.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I may reconnect it soon and see if it cocks it up again. Don't know. Okay, now I had another postage related question for you guys. I've heard people moaning quite a lot about the whole Argos click and collect option. Now, do you have it switched on? How do you find it? Have you had any bad, feedback from that? And same for you guys in the chat. My experience is since it came out, and if you don't know what it is, those people that are watching and haven't got a clue, there's an option you can switch on, click and collect with Argos. So if a customer buys one of my items and they say, they click the option to click and collect at Argos, they select their local Argos store, I send it to that Argos store and they pick it up from there. So it works really well at Christmas if people are busy or they're not in, they're ordering lots of stuff. It means they don't have to go down to the post office and queue up for it. They go to Argos at their leisure with like a little code and they pick it up. So I do really well out of that. And I've only had one, I think it was, that wasn't collected by the person and the Argos store sent it back to me. So Carla first, do you use that? And have you had any issues with it?
I had it on. I think it automatically went on at some point when they first brought it out, and you had the option to opt out of it, perhaps because I don't remember choosing to opt in. However, I have now opted out because I had two come back. Again, customer not collected. It's called a PUDO return. So if you get something that's coming up and the reason for it, I really cannot speak. On your returns dashboard where it says reason for return, it comes up as PUDO return. And I was like, what the hell is a PUDO return? It was an automatically accepted return. I've got feedback again. It was an automatically accepted return because I've got auto returns on for change of mind, etc., etc. And because it's a customer not picked up, which they call a PUDO, and it's pick up drop off is what the PUDO stands for, because I googled it because I wanted to know. And Argos automatically sent it back, and that really annoyed me. I was like, why should I'm out of pocket. I've sent it out. I've used my printer ink. I've used my packaging. I paid for the postage. I'm out of pocket for all of that because the customer's getting all of that back because they couldn't bother their bums to go to Argos. So I switched off them.
So that came up as a ding on the account.
No, I've got no defects, but that came up as a PUDO return on my returns dashboard, which is how I knew what it was.
Okay.
But I mean, I can understand why it would be a good thing for some people, but I'm sick of giving people their money back for no reason. Says the woman who's had 4 return requests today. Today is many unhappy returns for me.
See, I think sometimes like the reaction you have to this stuff is going to be, it's going to be different for everyone, isn't it? I mean, like you're obviously selling a lot more clothes, which I think can lend themselves to that anyway, can't they? I mean, I think it's quite well. It's been talked about a lot how clothes companies, especially like all the online ones, how open they are with just buy it and return it. Free postage policies. They send out items now with prepaid bags so that people can return them as soon as they've received them now. So I think maybe the customer base is a bit more like that. But I've got to say my experience has been a lot more similar to Nick's here, where I think we've had maybe 1 or 2 items at most sent back. But again, because most of my stuff sent out and it's costing me like 79p, I tend to be like, yeah, do you know what I mean? But I think that's where it's very personal, because it depends on what you've got invested into the product, etc. The cost of it all, how often is it happening in the scheme of things.
And sometimes there's just 1 or 2 little instances and that's it. You're done with that service or whatever. I mean, I know people that won't touch certain couriers till the end of time because they had 1 issue. And I'm thinking, well, you're going to have an issue with every courier you use. You know what I mean? You can't write off a company for one thing, but people do regularly. Yeah. And I think it's a similar thing, isn't it? We all have experiences with these. I was just reading in the chat, people there had great experiences. Reselling Polly said switched off, had problems with people not collecting. So it comes down to your personal experience with the service, I think. But
I think it was, like I said, for me, it's an emotional reaction. It's the frustration. I have to accept returns, and I've accepted that I have to do it. It's distance selling regulations. I have no choice. I have to accept that people don't know what size their bum is. I have to accept that people decide it's not the colour they thought it was. I have to accept all of these things. But one step too far for me was accepting that they couldn't even be bothered to go and get it. That was what took me over the edge.
I suppose it's like you can control that one aspect, can't you? Whereas, like you said, you have to accept the other things. So where you can do things which will avoid you getting unnecessarily stressed by these things. Do you know what I mean? Because it's like because we all want to do things that work for us and that are within our tolerances. So it's pointless, like forcing yourself into situations which are going to bother you. So it is. I think it's a great example of just because it's working for one person doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for the next person. I think it's always worth trying it, and if it works, great. If it doesn't, don't necessarily feel you're doing something wrong. Don't feel that maybe don't force yourself to do it. Go on your feeling. At the end of the day, that's why you're your own boss, right?
It is well worth trying. It's interesting just reading down as Phoebe there. Hi Phoebe says. Yes, I use click and collect all the time and never had a problem with it. Not one return. And then 2 comments down, Chris says, Argos are bloody useless, lost so many items. So
there you go.
Think of that what you will. Yeah, it's interesting to see.
Individual experience, yeah.
And then Al's Attic says, I think now Argos in Sainsbury's, because Argos are rolling out a lot of in-store little mini Argoses within Sainsbury's. There's one local to us. It might become more important because they're going to spread the Argos stores around, so that'll be interesting.
A little hack there from Shazad in the chat, talking about same-day deliveries. He offers same-day delivery, but he's got his cut-off set off at 1 a.m. So as long as the customer buys between 12 a.m. and 1 a.m.
qualifies him for whatever it is that he wants the eBay to qualify him for, but he doesn't actually have to do it. I like that.
Yeah. So it's still like having next day delivery, really, because
he's down as same day delivery,
but you
only get it if you order the first hour of that day. And eBay allow that? That's brilliant.
Yeah, I think I might do that as well because I offer next day delivery, so it would be like offering next day delivery because I do that anyway. If someone buys something, like I was doing my parcels this morning, someone bought something, it just went out because I was going anyway. So,
wow.
Yeah, I think that's quite funny.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, let's have a look in the chat.
I do think that I wonder if there's a difference between the female response to stuff and the male response to stuff. I have an emotional response to a lot of things. I've had a buyer today. I want to block him. I don't want to sell him my item because he annoyed me, and I wonder how much of that is just a female response, and how much of it is just non-business. Like, he's annoyed me because it was a jigsaw. It was a jigsaw. He said to me, "Are the pieces in a bag?" I said, "Yes, they are in a bag." He said, "Can you send me a picture of the pieces in a bag?" My response to that is, in case I'm lying. Now you've annoyed me by being an idiot and by suggesting that I might be lying and by overlooking the fact that it wouldn't take me 2 minutes to put them in a bag even if I had been lying previously. And now I don't want to sell you my jigsaw. And I know that's an emotional response. I know that's my frustration with the general stupidity of the human race. Maybe blokes wouldn't feel that way.
I think that response is absolutely fine. And through experience, those are the buyers that will cause you hassle anyway.
Yeah.
So you get a couple of stupid questions, and I just block them. I'm sorry, I'm done.
You're not getting my jigsaw. Or if you are getting it, then you're getting it one piece at a time, posted over the next. It's a 5,000 piece jigsaw. So how long will that take me?
And each piece will be sellotaped to a house brick, with only enough postage to cover.
For a large letter, yeah.
One piece at a time.
5,000 days.
I don't think that's like a male female thing. I just think that's more just what you're like.
See, my daughter says that I'm just unreasonable. She said you take offence where none is intended.
No, I think it's just how you are. Like not you personally, but just Yeah, it's just
Well,
some people have got, it's about tolerance levels, isn't it? It is about tolerance levels. So some people's tolerance levels are going to be greater than others. Like, I like to think I'm pretty relaxed, to be honest. I'm sometimes too relaxed for my own good, but I think one of the benefits of that is when I do get questions like, can you count how many teeth are on that pinion gear? I can just marvel in the question and just not reply to it and ignore it calmly. It doesn't bother me, and I won't mind if they buy it then and then return it because it's got the wrong amount of teeth or whatever. It doesn't bother. I'm kind of pretty relaxed about it, but I think that's just because of the way I am. I don't think it's anything to really do with.
Yeah, and I was going to say, for me, experience of selling has driven me to be that cynical and cold about it. Because the amount of times we've had someone asking really dumb questions, being really demanding, wanting us to ship it in the next 5 minutes, whatever. Yeah. And we jump through all the hoops and do all the things they want. And then they cause a stink when they get it.
Yeah.
You know, and they're the ones. So now I get that gut reaction and I just say, yep, block, bye. Not talking to you. See you later.
Yeah. Shazad says, I ban people all the time. If someone gives me any reason, then they get blocked. Someone just asking a question is enough. Any question at all, ban.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, that's taking a hard line, isn't it?
Yeah, I didn't like that question. I'm not sure about the inflection at the end of that sentence. Ban.
Well, can you believe we've been talking for an hour about postage already?
Well, it's one of those topics, like I said at the top of the hour, that you can get geeky about in a way. Like you really can, because there's so much to learn, and you know, some of it can be so daunting at first. Like, I mean, I remember when I first started, sometimes I'd be queuing up at the post office, and you'd get a price quoted to you that you couldn't quite believe, but you just pay it because you didn't know any better, and then you start, you know, but but the hurt of that cost, you know, is what drives you to learn about the alternatives.
Exactly. There's so many options, and we didn't even go into what options we offer, like same day, next day, because there's all those options, you know, within eBay that the customer can pick. We didn't even get around to talking about that. But just thinking back to when we first started on eBay, we literally used Royal Mail for everything, even the heavier stuff. We would just go down there with it, say, how much is this going to cost? And then we would go and put that into our listing for the really big things. It was simple as that. Virtually none of the online courier, you know, really simple websites were available then. We would just traipse off with great big bags to the post office.
And that was it, yeah. That's why I mentioned that, because this is a recent thing in a way, almost. Not mega recent, but, you know, recent enough that it is still not something that everyone's up to speed on, and the massive savings you can make.
And I'll tell you what, there's still plenty of old school eBay sellers around. Whenever I pop up and drop my sacks off there's 3 or 4 people I recognise who still go up there with their IKEA bags and do one by one over the counter, and they're all eBay sellers, and they're doing it as I was doing it 15 years ago.
When you asked me at the top of the hour what method I use and how long I've used it, I was trying to cast my mind back to what I did before Hermes, and I remembered now that I used to bag them, take them to the post office, print the postage through eBay, but Royal Mail postage, take them to post office at the top, which is no longer there, and drop them off, and then just go back for the receipt another time. She was a nice lady. She was a good post office member of staff. She's gone.
Lisa was saying you need to do another Q&A about storage for eBay beginners. We did one a couple of weeks back about storage, didn't we, when we had Tom on?
Yeah.
About stock and stuff. So maybe
I think it was more about how not to.
Yeah. There is one. I think it was the last one we did on this channel, I think. Yeah, because we had Garage Flips on Lonnie, didn't we, as well?
Lonnie, yeah.
So yes,
this might be silly or already answered, but what would you say is the best label printer starting out, or should you just stick to just printing with a normal printer? And I suppose it depends on what level you are starting out at, because thermal printer ranges from maybe 100 to 200 quid.
Mm-hmm.
If you're only printing one label every 4 days, that's a big investment.
Yeah.
So it depends.
I'd say the best thing is if you've got a laser printer, you're lucky. if you haven't, buy a cheap laser printer. They cost about 40 quid. You'll often see PC World doing a deal on like a Samsung or a Brother printer for about 40 to 50 quid. You can buy toner cartridges on eBay for like about 6-7 quid delivered. And then you can, then I'd suggest either getting a paper guillotine and printing out 4 labels a sheet if you can, and then manually guillotining them and then sellotaping them. Or you can buy A4 sheets on eBay which have got 4 6x4 labels on them, which is a massive benefit. But when you're starting to have to do that because you're getting that many parcels, then I think it's time to maybe look at getting a thermal printer, because it just makes life so much easier.
Yeah,
so much easier.
I definitely agree with the laser printer. I did exactly what you just described. I went to what shop did you just say?
PC World.
No, oh no, it wasn't PC World. Staples. It was then Staples, I think,
okay.
Which now has gone. And I got this Samsung for 50 quid on offer, and it changed how I did things overnight. I was using an old inkjet Canon for like a decade, and it was shocking. So yeah, if you're only doing a few, I think that is the way to go. But then as soon as you think it's possibly doable, upgrade to a, well, I use a Zebra laser print and thermal label printer now.
I don't know what you do.
I'm not sure. and I love that thing. Yeah. So okay. Before we all lose the will to live and can't talk, I think we should wrap this up.
Well, I actually want to point one thing out quickly before we go. Vinny has just said, I handwrite 20 to 30 parcels a day. I would have thought Vinny would have printed it out at the amount of stuff.
Drive me mad.
I'd get a hand cramp.
The amount you ship out, Vinny.
As well, Vinny. Actual sticky stamps that you have to lick.
That is insane.
The amount of time a label printer would save you, Vinny, I reckon that's an investment you almost have to do, mate. Yeah,
but yeah, again, it's an example though, isn't it? That it obviously worked for him, and
I can understand that, because I think the first thing I said in this chat was, I am guilty of being stuck in my ways. This works. I don't want to change it. I like, I can get up and just do it because it's how it works.
It says, I like the personal touch, and he uses sticky stamps. Wow.
I don't think you can get lick and stick ones anymore, can you?
Did they? Wow.
Wow, that is old school.
The reason I'm surprised, guys, in the chat, if you don't know, Vinny, he does some severe volume.
Exactly. That's why I thought Vinny would be the first.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah, I'm very surprised that someone like Vinny is. But credit to you, mate. If you've got the, I'd get hand cramp. I used to, when you start holding the pen tighter and tighter as you're right. For some reason, my grip on the pen.
Yeah, I find that.
Yeah, and by the end of it, I'm like gripping it. So
my writing gets worse and worse and more illegible.
Well,
Lisa Chloe asked, "What's a thermal printer?" And Lisa, it's a label printer that doesn't use ink. It prints via the heat, so like a till receipt does.
Yeah.
Yep. So you never have to change the ink. It's like. It's a miracle, I tell you. The other problem, just quickly before we wrap this up, me handwriting parcels is an issue because nobody can read my writing anyway. I'm worse than a doctor. You just can't read. Yeah, similar to that. Yeah.
I can't read my writing. Quite often I'm like, what did I put there?
I can't remember the last time I wrote anything. So
I get cramp in my hand now when I do it because I rarely handwrite anything.
That's such a strange.
Got a super chat, Nick, from David.
I just saw a little green bubble appear. David M. You are so generous. Thank you so much for that. How are you? Oh, there's no message with it to read out, unfortunately.
No, just saying thanks.
Not actually speaking to you.
No, we're not on speaking terms today. Thank you so much, David. I appreciate that. Phoebe there is saying, look at the Zebra GK420D, which is the same that Zahir and myself are currently using. I got mine for around £100 mark secondhand.
Yeah.
Well worth it, I would say.
Yeah, I've been eyeing up the Dymo 4XL, but maybe a Zebra would be better. For starters, it's half the price.
Well, if the Dymo's doing it.
I would have gotten the Dymo if it was on offer, but I missed out because I think they were off. They do it on like an offer sometimes where.
I'm waiting for that offer to come around again because I've got the 450, which I use for the smaller labels for bagging clothes.
The 4XL's got a higher resolution, so it should print out sharper labels. it can always come in handy. You never, but I've had no issues with my zebra thing.
Yeah, I think last time the Dymo was on a special offer on Amazon, it was shared in the TACCHAT Facebook group. I missed out on. I think it was cheap enough to make money on reselling it as well.
Maybe 139 or something like that instead of 180 or something.
Oh
If I
right.
remember rightly. So it was about 50 quid off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I get wind of it, I'll try and share a link next time.
He says, I
says-
who use label printers end up with fat hands and wrists due to lack of exercise. We really do.
I'm not sure I qualify for that one.
Yeah, but I bet Andrea does well. No, I'm not saying that Andrea's got fat wrists. Quick, move on.
You might be watching somewhere. Okay, on that bombshell, that's a good bombshell to end on. Andrew's got fat wrists. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope we managed to get onto some of your questions and comments. We are notoriously bad at not keeping up with the side chat. We will be back for various chats throughout the week. Zahir has a Friday one. Link to Zahir's channel is below. Carla tends to go live on a Sunday with a haul. Link for Carla's channel is below. So go over and check out those channels, please, if you can. I'll be back on Sunday with my wife to chat about TAT. So until any of those.
Simon before that, aren't you?
What's that?
Simon.
Oh, yeah.
Simon somewhere.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, I believe. I think we're going to go for about 8. I can't remember what we agreed on. Yeah, I'll chat with Simon tomorrow at some point in the evening. So yeah, maybe see you there. So thank you very much, guys. Appreciate the time.
Yeah, it's been fantastic as always.
Yeah,
Always
thanks
enjoy
for
doing
having
these.
No, it's a pleasure. And we'll see you all soon. Take care, guys.
Bye.
Fat wrist.